Wake up, Jacob, Israelite Prepper here. Listen, wanted to talk to you guys about deal breakers, especially, in relationships. And I think we all should have deal breakers, right? We should. I think we should have a couple of deal breakers, meaning the things that say, you know what, if this happens or does not happen or whatever, this relationship cannot stand, it won't work, right? But see, in the beginning stages of a relationship, you have to establish your deal breakers. You really do. That way, you get it established before you get into a serious relationship, before it starts, okay? Before. Can't have a lot of deal breakers after the fact. And a lot of us get in trouble because we try to institute our deal breakers after the fact. You got to institute those before the fact, because there's some deal breakers before you get involved with each other, and then there's some deal breakers after. And guess what? The list gets shorter. And what happens is we get into relationships and it's the reverse order. Okay, we have a short deal breaker list in the beginning, and the reason why is because we're not looking for them, we're not instituting them, we're not talking about them, we're not putting it up there. And then we have long deal breakers after we're already in a relationship, and they see, oh, well, I don't like this, and this is not going to work. I mean, so you have all these things. So it's reversed. But at the end of the day, sometimes we come up with all these deal breakers, and in the relationship, it's too many. Now let me explain. A lot of times in a relationship, some things it's like you're like, well, it's too late for that. You're married. It's too late, and everybody wants to institute all these different deal breakers and stuff. It's like a guy saying, man, I got into this relationship, and now I'm working hard. I'm working my finger to the bone, and I didn't know it was gonna be like that, and well, it's too late. And they say, and man, now. Me and my wife, we got 4 or 5 kids, and now it's just getting rough, and I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm cut out for that. And then some guys want to cut and run. No, it's too late. That's not a deal breaker. I'm sorry. It's too late. Okay? It's too late. You need to take care of your kids. I'm sorry. That's not a deal breaker. So, but let me kind of go off a couple of deal breakers that I saw. I was looking at an article, and there's a huge line of deal breakers, because there's a difference between, having a couple of deal breakers here and there and some biblical deal breakers, right? But let me tell you some of the deal breakers I saw in the article, right? Okay, so they have an overall score, and I'm gonna mainly focus on the overall, right? But they surveyed men, they surveyed women, and they said, what are their deal breakers? What will cause someone to leave a relationship, right? Now, at overall, I'm not going to do both. I'm just going to do the overall, but I'm going to just give you an idea. Disheveled or unclean appearance. Men, 63% said if a woman has a disheveled or unclean appearance, they're out of there. For women, 71%. Okay, 71% for an overall of 67. So now you guys have an idea, because I'm actually looking at it on my phone, and I just want you guys to take it in. All right, lazy overall 66%. 60% of men said that if a woman's lazy, I'm out. 72% of women said, hey, if the dude is lazy, I am out. Okay, giving you guys something to listen to while I go on. Let's see, too needy. If someone is too needy, 63% overall. 57% of men said that. 69% of women said that. If you're too needy. Interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Then you have lack of a sense of humor. Overall, 54%. So everybody wants someone with a sense of humor, but it's a deal breaker. That means if someone doesn't have a pretty good sense of humor, that person's leaving the relationship, according to this article and survey. Let's see here. What does it have here? Just after the lack. Someone lives too far, 3 hours away from me. Okay, you're in a relationship and you're like 3 hours away. Let's see, 49% overall said that that's going to be a deal breaker. That's going to be a problem, and they would break up. Okay, then you have on this article, bad sex overall, 47%. 50% of women said they're out of here. 44% of men said they're out of here for bad sex, and then they will break up. Let's see. Lacks self-confidence overall, 40% overall. Too much TV and video games. What is this? 33%. 33%. What else we have? Stubborn. 33% overall. 33%. 23%. Talks too much. Talks too much. 23% say, you know, this person talks too much, I'm out of here. That's a deal breaker. Interesting. Too quiet. 14%. Someone who doesn't talk enough. 14%. Too much. Too quiet. Blunt. 14%. A person is blunt. If someone is too blunt in a relationship, they will break up. Too blunt. What else we have? Does not want kids. 14% overall. 13% for guys. 15% for women. 14% overall. They already had kids. Overall, 13%. Deal breaker. Don't want someone with kids, according to the survey. Then 9%, too athletic. Okay. Men said if a woman's too athletic, she's out. 10% of women said if a guy's too athletic, she's out. Last but not least, not athletic at all. Overall, 6%. 7% by men and 6% by women. If someone is not athletic at all, they are out of here. Now, I just wanted to share that with you guys because I wanted you to just kind of see and hear, I guess, some of the deal breakers that people have out there, right? What will cause someone to leave a relationship? Now, those of the Hebrew faith, we know that list, once you're in a relationship, that list is shorter, okay? You can't have a long list of deal breakers after the relationship has already begun, right? If you have them in the beginning, fine. You got to deal with that before the relationship starts, so that kids are not involved, your emotions not involved. But once it starts, yeah, once it starts, that's going to be difficult. Because I know a lot of people, they feel like, you know, they're trapped in relationships and things like that, and that's unfortunate. But sometimes we have to live with our choices, you know, sometimes. And that's rough. That is really rough. That's much easier to say than do, right? Much easier to say. You got to live with those choices, and it's tough, you know. I mean, what Abigail had to stay with Nabal until he died, you know. And I know a lot of people probably thinking, hey, you know, what if this, what if that? I understand, okay? I understand. I'm just saying, we can't have a ton of deal breakers after you're already in the relationship. You can have all you want before the fact, but, you know, I recommend the list not be too long, but you got to have your, you know, the things that are just really important. I mean, obviously, like this. Obviously, a woman don't want a guy who's physically abusive, right? But we got to kind of get that established as much as possible, you know, in the beginning. Okay, we got to figure out, is this guy, you know, going to, you know, put his hands on me and beat the daylights out of me or something like that? You want to find that out early on. So I'm not talking about any extremes. And that's the thing. When we are talking about deal breakers and we're talking about checking people out and everything and bad relationships, people always go to extremes. You know, automatically go to extremes. And I understand that may be their personal situation. I get it, but gee whiz. Let's, you know, we're not talking about the extremes, you know. But they try to go to the extremes so they can find that exception. I get it, but let's just not do that, okay? Because we can never have a conversation and get anywhere if we're talking about something right down the middle, but at the same time, you have to bring up an extreme every single time, okay? Every single time. It's just not gonna work. But anyway, deal breakers, guys. What are some of your deal breakers, okay? Put them in the comment section below. I'm gonna get back in this garden, and I will see you on the next video. Israelite Prepper.